Ahoy hoy fellow bookworms, my name is Caroline and I like to read books, so let's talk about them. Today's video is going to be me spilling some tea on classics I hate. Yeah, this is empty. Before anyone comes along like, wah, you uncultured swine. I did recently do a video all about classics that I love, so it's not like I hate all classics, I just don't like these particular classics. Honestly as well, for a few of the classics that I'm going to mention in this video, I don't necessarily think that they were bad books, I just thought they were so overhyped that when I read them, I was really disappointed and now I just really dislike them because of that. Anyway, that's enough of an introduction. These are some classic books that I hate. First up is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is so many people's favourite book, and I can kind of see why, but it just completely was not for me. I hated reading this. I will say that I really enjoyed the whimsical setting and some of the colourful characters, but what I could not for the life of me handle was Alice. She is meant to be a bright and inquisitive child, but she drove me completely fucking crazy. She just questioned everything a ridiculous amount, and I know that she's a child, so of course she's going to do that, but even when she started to realize that this was a dreamlike world that clearly wasn't her own, she continued to question things, and every time she did this, it completely put a stop in the plot, and I really didn't enjoy it, and it just got so frustrating and got to the point where the Queen decrees off with her head, and I was like, yes, please fucking kill Alice. Like, I just wasn't enjoying myself. So there were aspects of the story that I really enjoyed, but Alice wasn't one of them. Next up is Tess and the dUrbervilles by Thomas Hardy, which I studied in my second last year of high school. That's why it has all these post-it notes in it, and I absolutely fucking hated this book. It is kind of hard with this to know if I hate it because I studied it in such excruciating detail or whether I would have hated it regardless, but I just didn't enjoy the reading experience of this. There were such long and rambling descriptions of scenery that would go on for like pages and pages at a time, and then they would be like, oh, and then we walked straight past it, and it would mean nothing, and also there were so many long and stupid metaphors that were just bullshit, and I just didn't enjoy it. It's not the kind of writing style that I enjoy. I really didn't like any of the characters. I know there are certain characters in this that are definitely not meant to be likable, but it was just, I just didn't enjoy it. It wasn't a good book. I didn't enjoy studying it at all, so yeah, I hate this book. But the next book I have is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, and this is definitely one that falls less into the hate category and more into the disappointing category. I read this book a few years ago, and while I was reading, I thought it was okay. The writing was nice, the characters were nice, and the ending was actually quite good. But my problem with this book was that it wasn't particularly remarkable, at least not to me. I didn't want to pick it back up. I didn't find myself wanting to talk about it. I didn't think about it for long after I finished it. It just kind of faded into the back of my memory, and I think it had been quite overhyped for me, and so when I finished I was just kind of like, oh, is that it? And so I enjoyed it. It was okay, but I think it just wasn't the best thing ever, and so it was really disappointing for me, and I don't really reflect on it all that fondly because of how disappointing it was. Another classic that I hate is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I don't know what the big deal is with this book. I don't know why it is so many people's favorite because I really did not enjoy it. I will say that I enjoyed the writing style. I think F. Scott Fitzgerald has a way with words and it was really clever and smooth, but that's really all that I enjoyed about it, and that was enough to give this about a 2 out of 5 stars from me. The story didn't really do anything for me. Gatsby was a mildly interesting character, but all of the other characters were pretty meh. And then the plot, nothing really happened for most of the story, and then we get towards the end and like one big event happens and then that's the end. I just didn't enjoy it. Like, all of it was about high society just being high society, and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy whatever romance there was between Jay Gatsby and Daisy because I found it kind of weird. I don't know, like, did I miss something? I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it. The final classic that I'm going to mention in this video is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I really did not enjoy this book, but I can absolutely see why so many people did. I think maybe if I'd read it at an earlier point in my life or something like that, I would have liked it more. My main problem with this book was our main character Holden. I found him infuriating and annoying and quite hypocritical a lot of the time. He talks a lot about how he hates phonies, and that's one of the key reasons why he's having this whole struggle. But I found him to be quite a phony, and that hypocrisy really bothered me. He was always putting on this face around people, and I know that that's something that people do, but he would complain about other people doing it, and then he would do it, and I just really didn't like that he had this double standard. I found it really not cool. I guess I just didn't really enjoy his narration for the most part. I found his observations to be quite repetitive a lot of the time. I didn't like the way he talked about other characters, especially women, which I know is kind of a product of the time that this book was written, but I still didn't enjoy reading about it. And I do think this book was really overhyped for me. I can see why other people liked it, because a lot of people would find Holden to be quite a relatable character because he's going through such a struggle. But I just didn't enjoy it. I don't know completely why, but while I was reading it, I wasn't enjoying it, and it's not a book that I really reflect on as like, oh, I really loved that book. I don't recommend it to people. I didn't enjoy it. I just didn't like it. That brings us to the end of this video though, guys. Be sure to let me know down in the comments what classic books you hate. I upload videos Wednesdays, Saturdays, and sometimes Mondays as well, so be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Toodaloo!